Justin, welcome to the Startup Van.
Oh, man, I love this. I love this. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
So cool.
Literally, just people can't see, the place is being torn down around us.
Yeah.
We're the last saloon, aren't
Yeah,
we?
we're not
Get
leaving.
him in, quickly, get him
We're
in.
not leaving.
We're not going anywhere.
We won't
I've
leave
been
anyone
bashing
down.
on the door to get in here.
We will leave no man down. We will get every interview done. And you're the last.
That's so cool.
Yeah, the last one, the whole trip.
Yeah.
So look,
Hallelujah.
tell the people just a bit
Gentlemen
about
always
yourself.
come last, remember
Yeah.
that.
Of course. Let's keep this clean. Let's keep this clean.
So tell them a
let's
bit about
explain,
yourself, yeah.
Okay, so my name's Justin Packshaw, and I own and run a fantastic fashion brand called Doroma. We make top-end jewellery and cashmere. We've done that for about 10 years, which we're very proud of, and it's, as I said, a really cool company. But my alter ego, there's a sort of alter ego that I have, and that started when I was quite young. I was a very keen sailor. I grew up in the Mediterranean, then sailed for Britain for a while, and then went into the army. And I did 10 years as a soldier. And since leaving the army, I've kind of been fascinated by business, but also my alter ego is about adventure, really. And I've been lucky enough to have replicated some really amazing explorers. And, you know, if you think 100 years ago, no one had been to the North Pole, no one had been to the South Pole, no one had been to the top of Everest.
Yeah.
You know, that's one generation. My granny died 4 years ago, and she was born in 1907, so before all of this.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky enough to been to all three places.
Wow.
And have done it the routes that the original guys had done it. And on some of those trips, I've taken wounded soldiers, and we've raised upwards of 10 million quid.
Oh, wow.
And for great causes. So it's funny how the art of fulfillment, I mean, I go on about it a lot, is a really kind of cool thing for us all to get into. And, you know, a lot of Sage Summit has been around philanthropy, the foundation, and I'm a foundation ambassador for Sage. And I think, you know, that's really exciting. And one of the things that has sort of come out of all of this is lessons that you learn. So, you know, 10 years as a soldier, I've been to war. I was a professional sailor, as I said. You know, all these things, you learn things, and then you lead expeditions. And I'm fascinated by taking those really poignant, salient points, extrapolating them from that environment, and then putting it into the aspect of business.
Okay.
So I talk to businesses all over the world about, rather presumptuously, the science of achievement. How do you get the best out of people? How do they get the best out of you?
Yeah.
In a really progressive and cool way. And so what's been brilliant being associated here is looking at some of those keynote speakers.
Yeah.
And, you know, from Richard Branson to Ashton Kutcher, all of them actually have been saying the same message, which is not really about, you know, flog people to sell them a widget. It's about invest in people, make them better. You know, have a conscious. You know, millennials want to be involved and be heard.
Yeah.
It's not a 9 to 5, and so I'm really fascinated by that sort of, you know, think big, challenge assumptions. You know, what's possible.
Yeah.
And change the perception of what the current reality is. You know, we can do things differently, we can do it better.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love that. I love it. You know, momentum.
Can I ask, what motivates you?
I'm really, if I'm really honest, that's changed. You know, when I was much younger, I was sort of very selfishly driven on seeing what I could do.
Right.
And, you know, the human is an amazing piece of kit, and, you know, we are meant to excel.
Right.
And I've seen that. I've seen it in myself, and I've seen it in others. You know, if you really push it and stretch it physically and mentally. And that's always really, you know, that's something which conceptually has interested me. As I've got older, and what's happened is, you know, you get older, you get more momentum, and suddenly people listen to you, and you can. What really fascinates me now is trying to get people to sit up and realise that it is imperative that you get involved and you look after, you know, the aspect of social media, and you know, there's a whole mass of things that we can do now, which you can have a voice.
Yeah.
You know, to look after the.
There's
That's
the
okay.
phone.
Yeah,
It's a
the
great
last one
interview.
today.
Sorry,
You're
guys,
okay.
sorry. And, you know, to have a conscience and, you know, get involved, make people better, and I love that. And it's funny, you know, I'm 50 now, and
Jeez, you don't look it. You don't look
meeting
50.
amazing people. You know what you guys are doing. This is fantastic. You know,
Yeah,
and you know we've
thank
got to water this and promote it and give you a clean set of sales to really get out there and.
Yeah, there they are. Persist.
That is really important, and
Yeah.
I think that it's a fantastic time now because it's sort of all this is possible.
Yeah.
Whereas before, everything was slightly vertically driven. It was traditional, and you had to go through all these steps. And
Yeah.
now it's progressive. You can have people who come along, have an idea, and lo and behold, you're sitting in a bloody camper van.
I know.
And you're
I know.
doing something, and it's revolutionary. It's exciting. It's inspirational, and that's great. And yet you can present a story to masses of people, and they go, "Yeah, I like that, and
Yeah.
that resonates with me, and I'm gonna act on it."
We're all about supporting
Yeah,
startups.
it's funny because you hear these things can get tough. Obviously, running a startup's not
Yeah,
easy. It's a
yeah.
lot of work. We organise this from the other side of the world, and we have to
Yeah.
come here. But it's when you hear these
Been great
stories of somebody getting investment because an investor seen them here,
Yeah.
believed in their story,
Yeah.
and they seen the passion in
Yeah.
their eyes and invested in the person,
Yeah.
not the business, but invested in the person itself. That's kind of what keeps us going.
Well, I'm asked this an awful.
Oh, just answer it. Just answer it.
No. We'll let it go. I'm often asked, what drives you? What lessons do you learn?
Yeah.
And it's really simple. It actually all comes down to belief. Your belief.
Believing in
this
yourself,
is one in yourself and what we're trying to do. In that process, you cannot get away from hard work, and that's stemmed by passion. It's stemmed by creativity, but also about trying to make yourself as brilliant as possible.
Yeah.
Strive for excellence, and it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing. It's a brilliant thing, not only in yourself, but
Set the bar high.
I want you to be better. I want all my staff, all my people, whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
Try and really ignite brilliance.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
a pretty cool thing to do. And you can do it in every walk, in sports, in the arts, in my business. We make really beautiful stuff. And, well, when you get it made, well, let's really invest a bit more to make sure it's made beautifully.
Of course.
And you've got to, everything is thought through.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's actually pretty simple. And when you look at it against the context of some of the trips I do, which are dangerous, and your life's on the line, you really understand. So if we're doing a trip together, well, hold on, I need to know your strengths, I need to know your
Yeah, of
weaknesses.
course.
I'm not weaknesses to
Bring out the
exploit
best in each other.
them, not to exploit, but when something's not right, well, we'll protect it.
Of course.
Vulnerability is supported, and the military is very good at doing that. So, there's lots of cool lessons that we can learn, which help.
I think we have time for one more question.
Yeah.
And out of the three, North Pole, South Pole, Everest, which was the toughest and why?
That's a cracking question. They're all different. I think the reality is that those high mountains are just, there's so many variables, and you're not supposed to, the human body is not supposed to go above 8,000 meters. The Everest is just under 29,000 feet, and that's where jets fly. There's a third as much oxygen there. And once you commit to what you're doing, what happens is you are going up against the greatest force that there is, and that is Mother Nature. And Mother Nature, if she flexes her muscles, you don't stand it. You don't stand a chance. So they're all different, but I think probably Everest was right out there.
I know we touched on what motivates you, but when times got tough on Everest, where you wanted to turn back, what motivated you to keep going?
I think with all these things, you value where you are and what you have. Again, it happens in business. You can become very myopic on the prize, and you have to be careful that the prize doesn't out or leads you down the path of irrational thought. So you must always think, listen, if at any stage I just don't think this is viable anymore, then you have to be able to say, I'm not going for the summit.
Of course.
I'm not going, it's fine. I would rather turn round and live and fight another day. And that is really important. Now, with what I've done, I've had lots of opportunity to really look at that and value it and trust my instinct. because most of the time you're stepping into the unknown. It's the same in business. You step into the unknown, and you can keep flogging away at something, and suddenly you get, something, it's not going to work.
It's about knowing when to quit.
And failure is actually not a bad thing, and I think that's another thing that you learn.
Right.
You learn on all these.
We're
things.
getting knocked on the window here.
Bombarded out of here.
So.
Look,
thanks so much for your time.
You're an absolute inspiration.
Pleasure, guys.
What a way to end.
As are you guys.
Yeah.
As are you. You really are. And listen, I just look forward to following. I'm gonna try and get another van behind you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Look.
We've got Stephen Kelly out there taking photos.
Stephen,
So thanks so much. Thanks so much, Beverly. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Quick follow.
Get in there, boys.